Princess Nwakego Ibrahim Pam was born on the 22nd of January 1968, a special child born on the same date as her father in Lagos, Nigeria.
My father didn't speak a different language. My father also spoke Yoruba. Spoke Yoruba very well. And we all spoke Yoruba at home.
Really?
Yeah. So I got to learn how to speak my father's dialect when I was already about 10. He had to take us from the Port Harcourt back to the village for 1 year to stay with his mother, so that we could learn how to speak his language. But the main language spoken in our home growing up was Yoruba and English. My mom has a special place in my life that I spoke of, because she was, being a princess, she lived a very humble life, very down to earth. She had no heirs. She was my friend. But my dad, he practically brought me up as if I was a boy. We chatted, I could ask him questions that other children would not be able to ask him. I spent a lot of time with him, trying to know more about him, talked about his work, his health. You know, I was just a chitty-chatty person with him because we shared the same birthday. I was born on the same day with him. You know, so that there was that special bond with my dad, and he could confide in me, and I didn't have a fear of him. I had so much trust and confidence in me, and that propelled me to be the strong-willed person I am today. So, and when I had difficulties in the early stages of our plans of getting married, me and Ibrahim, when we had our first daughter, you know, in those days, how easily parents disown their daughters. When you come back home with you're pregnant and you're not married, the societal pressure on parents to want to discipline the child. My father didn't do that. My father brought me home, took care of my baby while I went back to complete my NYSC. Gave my first daughter his name while we were both trying to sort out, like I said, the cultural thing interfered with the process of us getting married initially. So my dad was a man of intense love and exposure. That tradition for him was not something that he can compromise for his daughter. So he never took tradition over me. You know, so he loved me with my baby until everything I was able to sort out the differences with Gambo. So for that reason, what else can a daughter say when in a very difficult period of your life, your dad becomes your shield, becomes your protector. You know, he restores your dignity at times when you should be at your lowest. But I was treated like a queen. You know.
After primary and secondary schools in Lagos, Nwakego took an unprecedented step in life, left family and friends, and moved to faraway Jos Plateau State, north central Nigeria, to further her education.
After growing up in Southwest and then South, I was so desperate to know beyond those parameters. And since I loved traveling and I had stayed with my parents for quite some time, I wanted to start out life by myself and to see what the North looked like. So I chose to be far away from my parents. So I chose Jos, basically because my brother was in the army and I had been to Jos once or twice before applying to the university. So I chose Jos. I liked it when I came, and so I came to Jos for my university studies.
Good education she got from Jos, a bachelor's degree in English language and linguistics. But that was not all. Most importantly, she also found love.
Coming to Jos basically for me was for my self-growth and to study, and then I had intention of going back to Port Harcourt. But as God willed it, my husband saw me in my year 1 at the university, and he stalked me for for over 6 months, coming into my lectures. I didn't know him. I didn't have any inclination of him being there because of me, but gradually he started greeting me and talking to me, and finally he made his intention known. But for me it was a bit difficult because I had purposed in my mind before coming to the north that I wasn't going to marry any more than, you know. But I found him very different, you know, very broadened in his knowledge and his exposure. So we had quite a number of things in common, and that overruled my perception of what a northern man, in my mind was. So I decided to have a relationship with him. So I ended up with. I think from that I've already been prepared, having a parent and both parents that were from 2 different cultural backgrounds, 2 different heritage, being able to live together and have made a success of their marriage. So getting married to my husband wasn't the problem. It's getting over the hurdles at that time that came with mixed marriages from the south and from the north, based on the perception of the different cultures. So for me and Ibrahim, our relationship was basically based on love, not the love that was infatuation or, you know, the one that let's say, no, it was a love born out of deep affection. He had a strong will to marry me, but it wasn't a relationship of let's find out what we want or things like that. So from the onset, there was a purpose for a relationship, you know. So that really helped us. And secondly, he spoke one of the languages that I speak, so that was a bond for us.
Which one?
Yoruba. He speaks Yoruba quite well, and that happens to be our love language. You know, we could communicate in Yoruba. We could share our deep thoughts. And funny enough, he went back home to my mother's hometown to school, Ile-Ife. He went to University of Ife. So I think God had already prepared him, and then God had to bring me to Jos to prepare me to. So there wasn't so much of a clash of culture for we, both of us, the individuals involved. But for his family, it was quite a bit difficult for them to appreciate. I've always had this tradition that when I had a relationship, I always take the person home to introduce to my parents, you know. So when I and Ibrahim started, before we started anything quite serious, I said to him, I said, look, the only way I can have any meaningful relationship with you is that you need to come and meet my parents. That's the starting point. So they were not meeting him after the incident. They knew him for the past 5 years. They knew that this was my friend, and this was somebody that we had intention of getting married to. So, and immediately my dad met him. The same love he had for me, he transferred to Ibrahim. You know, it's just funny how my family, they so much love my husband. When he comes to my family, Ibrahim is not my husband. He's one of the Chinwans, you know, because from my oldest sister to the lowest child in my family, they love him. And so for us, it wasn't so much of a problem of me marrying him. I think it was the pressure of his people not really understanding our culture, or maybe they had a different vision of what he should do. But I think he chose me.
This love story blossomed and produced lovely bundles of joy.
4 of them are in the US. My second daughter is in The Hague, Netherlands, International Criminal Court. She's a scientist criminologist. She just finished her master's, so she's interning. Elizabeth Pam. Yeah. The first one, Pamela Pam Williamson, she's married. She's expecting her third baby. She's also a forensic psychologist. She's married to an American, Christopher Williamson. They have Kaden, Emil, Omari, and Zaina. The baby is on the way. By the grace of God, by the end of this month, she should be delivered on a baby girl. And then I have Zachariah Samuel Pam, my first son. That one is just a replica of his dad, full of compassion, loving, kind. He's just the kind of son that any mother will want. Then the baby of the house, that's the genius we have. He's so intelligent, he's so vibrant, he has the mind of his own, you know. He's the life of the family. We all have to cater to his to his needs, and he's a joy to have. You know, I tease the sisters. I say, look, you asked for one brother, and God has given you two wonderful brothers. You know, so those are my kids.
At 50, Princess Nwakego Ibrahim Pam has achieved so much professionally.
Right now, I work with special needs children and their families, because when you deal with special needs children, you don't only deal with the children, you deal in a holistic manner, because when you have a special needs child in the family, it affects everybody, and everybody needs to know their part in the life of the child. It's not the other way around. So the child is the center of the family because of the child being special. So I need to retrain the family members on how to accept this child and how best they can be of support to the child. So I started that far back in 1994. When I got married to my husband, as you see from the dates of birth of the kids, I had my kids in a rush. So and my husband worked at the bank, and he had the belief that both of us could not be working, you know, at a high level, where he comes back home at 5 or 6 and I'm also out. So for the first few years of our marriage, I wasn't allowed to, not that I wasn't allowed to work, but we agreed that I have to stay at home to know if I'm going to make the babies, then I have to be at home to take care of the babies. So after I had my third baby, I told him, look, I wasn't cut out to be a full-time housewife. I have my vision and I have a career that I want to pursue. So I asked him, one day we went to church, and the church started a primary school, and I just looked up to him. I said, look, you won't allow me work in banks and other things. Is it okay if I apply for a position in this primary school? And as God will have it that day, he said yes. He had always said no to me trying to work or something. So I started, so I applied for the job at the Redeemers International School, and the June 12th incident came, so we had to travel to Port Harcourt with him. While we were in Port Harcourt, I got the message to come back for an interview for the job. So I came back and interviewed, and I got the job. So when I started as an assistant teacher in the Redeemers school. Then I started noticing, because of my training, I studied English linguistics, and I started discovering that most of the kids were underperforming, not due to lack of having the intelligence, but they had some learning disabilities, difficulties, that with one-to-one attention or with the proper curriculum techniques of teaching them, they could get to function at a better capacity. So I started taking interest in such kids and bringing them under my tutelage and into my classroom. And from there, I just developed the passion to do that, because in those days special needs kids were labeled, but they were not properly taught or cared for. So from 1994 I just went into the field for special needs children and their families. And then as we kept relocating, I kept opening different centers. Every city my husband relocated to, after a few months I just set up shop. And
you did this all by yourself?
Yes, all by myself. Then gradually, when you start something, you don't really know the extent, the openings or the opportunities that come with what you do. So when I started my center, I realized there were needs for trainings of teachers, of creating a curriculum that would help the special needs children. So I started creating my own curriculum for my center. And then I started doing teachers training for other schools. I started setting up daycare centers for established schools. I started working, encouraging other friends of mine that have the same vision to set up their own centers, to have schools for special needs children. So that's while in Nigeria. Then in 2005, my husband got his job with the International Criminal Court, so we relocated. And having to adapt to an European lifestyle was not easy. Having to go with 5 kids, so I had to find something to do at home. So I started contacting parents that their kids were also in the same school with mine. That this is what I do.
That's abroad.
Abroad in Netherlands, and I started the home center again, where parents bring their children. I take care of them for the day, and special needs children come and I do the speech therapy sessions for them. And then gradually I was able to open a center, an office in the Netherlands. And then during that period also, I decided to apply to International Criminal Court too, where my husband was working. And I was privileged to get the employment, so I also have had to work for International Criminal Court, and I was the first administrative officer they had for the permanent site office in the court. I had helped to choose the architects go through the different orders and prototype office they presented to the court. I set up the administrative basis for the office before I left. And then after that, I also had a team with the International Criminal Court for former Yugoslavia, ICTY. I worked with the judges for the Baltic Wars, that the massacre. And then I was also privileged to work on the important cases that they just brought some of them to judgment and prosecution. Then I worked with the Nigerian British Council here before I left. I've collaborated with the Israeli embassy as a Mashaf coordinator for about 7 states in east, south, and northern states for several years. Worked with Plateau State government. I've collaborated with them on lots of projects, sent a lot of the Plateau State indigenous to Israel for their postgraduate master's program in different fields. Both me and my husband Ibrahim have been able to organize workshops for the Plateau State government for their civil service. So I just do anything to impact lives. That's my vision, because I believe that anywhere you find yourself, you should be able to impact lives. You should leave a trace of yourself, and you should see beyond yourself. You should look at your environment and make an impact on your environment. I've been at it for the past 23 years. I've had kids from almost every ethnicity come to my center, and they're all over the world. The first set of kids I've taught them all graduates, and most of them are married, and they contact me on Facebook. So right now in Sondo, where I've started another center for special needs children, where they come for speech therapy twice a week or once a week, as the case, as it is flexible for the choice of the parents to do. By February, I'll start a home daycare too for international expatriates to bring their children for homeschooling and daycare.
Take a break now. How many? No, Madam, when we started, I saw your passion for doing what you are doing now. That's what you started doing here in Nigeria.
Yes.
A lot of people, when they live here and they find a window to get out of this country, they don't ever look back. They don't want to come back. I saw in your brief you talked about planning to start something about women.
Yes.
Is that going to be in Nigeria?
Yes. I run a network called the Expert Professional and Business Women's Network. I started that in 2013 in Tunisia. Having been an expert wife, who moved from country to country, I know how difficult it is for a woman who is a career woman to leave her career behind to be supportive to her husband. So when I got to Tunis, I found a lot of expatriate wives that were a bit frustrated because they couldn't get jobs and they couldn't start businesses that they wanted to do. So I decided that a platform is better than individuals having to approach the problem, So if we create a group and form a platform of professional women, maybe establishments will pay attention to us and be able to open doors. And that's what happened. So I organized spouses of my husband's colleagues, we formed a network, EPBWN, where we started retraining ourselves. We taught ourselves how to write our CVs, what our strengths were, how to rebrand ourselves, how to start writing proposals and business plans on what we want to do with ourselves while we were in Tunisia. And fortunately for us, immediately we formed that platform. The African Development Bank took an interest in us because that was also one of the problems they were facing. How do they get the spouses to be productive so that their employees will be happy and they will stay? Because once you have spouses of your employees that are not happy, you might lose the best of the best, because if they get a better job in a more conducive environment where their spouses will be happier, they leave. So they joined hands with us and collaborated a lot, and most of the women are all over Africa. We have about 7 chapters in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Addis Ababa, Tunisia, Ivory Coast, Kenya, and Uganda. And now I've opened a branch in South Korea, where I am, which will happen to be the headquarters. But we have about 4 functional chapters, and we're planning to open the Nigerian chapter here. So I already have women on ground. Creating the working committee.
Nwakego speaks fondly of her marriage.
It's been, I always tell them, I'm one of the fortunate women. To have him as my husband is just, it's an experience, The downside is that I can't complain to my friends about my husband. They will never believe anything I say about him, So he's a perfect gentleman outside, and he's my husband inside.
Behind this success story of good education, love, successful intertribal marriage, lovely children, and a blossoming career. Told by this adorable princess, it's this man, Ibrahim James Pam, her husband.
Well, I take her father's word for it that she's 50. No, I think she's blessed with, good, and I think she takes it from her father because he lived a very long life, but he kept very physically well looking, and yeah, unfortunate. It's been great because I grew up in Lagos, primary school, secondary school, half of it, and I went to university in Ife. I was there for 5 years, and then I moved to Jos. So a lot of her background I share as well. She was born in Lagos, and then also because I learned the Yoruba language early, so we speak Yoruba together. I spoke Yoruba with her mom, which was quite special. I think we had a special relationship, and most of all, her father was a distinguished gentleman. I think it's a shame that in Nigeria we have lost some of those early values that our parents had. Pachimo was of a distinguished generation, and he was so intellectually stimulating. We would sit and chat for ages and hours on end, and I got perspectives about Nigerian history, Nigerian culture from him that I could not have gotten elsewhere. He had both the exposure of living in the north, but also of being from the Niger Delta.
Born in the north.
Born in the north, actually.
He was born in Kaduna.
Yeah. And having lived most of his working life in Lagos, taught in King's College, was a distinguished fellow from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So he had such a broad, open perspective that, intellectually it was stimulating, but culturally it gave me an awareness of things that I ordinarily would not have known about.
So if there was any chance there would be a second life, and you had a chance to get married again, would you go to Ju or will you still go to Andoni?
So fair, you're asking me in front of her. so I mean, yeah, in front of a camera, in front of my wife, of course I would go back to that. No, but seriously, I couldn't exchange this for anything else. I think it's been a journey that is unequaled. They say opposites attract. This is opposites. My wife and I have quite different worldviews in terms of our approaches to life. She's very confident. She takes on challenges that, I wonder, where do you get the confidence to do this? I'm much more reserved, much quieter. I look for security, but she takes a stab in the dark and she's happy to go. So it's a great balance. It's a healthy tension between two different characters, but it makes for a stimulating and exciting life experience.
How do you fondly call her?
Yo.
Madam, you heard those rather very emotional, fond words from your husband. Will that be the same for you?
Oh yes.
She can't tell you it's different. No,
it's been. I always tell them I'm one of the fortunate women. To have him as my husband it's an experience, The downside is that I can't complain to my friends about my husband they will never believe anything I say about him, you know. So he's a perfect gentleman outside, and he's my husband inside.
On her 50th, what do you say to her, sir?
Let's do it again in 50 years. Yeah? Yeah? Thank you for being as supportive as you've been. Thank you for sharing my aspirations. Thank you for making me to aspire. Thank you also for trusting me with your life. And hopefully it all turns out very well.
So far it's been fun. And thank you for taking good care of me, more than I expected. Thank you for keeping all your promises of taking me around the world. You've done that exceedingly well. Thank you for being a wonderful father to our kids. Thank you for being my friend. Having your hands on the buttons so to stop me. Generally, just being the source of my happiness and making me the envy of so many of my peers, and turning me into a role model that would have been difficult without you. So, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For Princess Nwakego Nwakego Ibrahim Pam, at 50, her story is simply happily ever after.
There is no secret. It's just the grace of God. Because I never was into health, dieting or sporting or anything. I lived a very normal life until very recently, where I had to have a lifestyle change.
Princess Nwakego Ibrahim Pam's birthday comes up on the 22nd of January. But she chose Sunday, December 24th, 2017, Christmas Eve, to come to the Lord with thanksgiving. She's not waiting for her birthday because she says she had an agreement with God on this.
And I discussed with the doctor and I said, give me 3 months and let me see what I can do about my heart. And if I'm not able to rectify my heart, then I will do anything you want me to do. I will walk with you. But I took a look at my husband and my children, and you all know how much I love them. And I said to God, my job is not yet over. I still have more to do, more to see, more dances to dance. And I made a vow. And I said to God, I will walk with you in faith. And when you do this for me, I will do something for you. And God answered. Within the 3 months I gave the doctor, I went back for a checkup. And my heart, that was almost more than 60% larger than the normal size, had gone back to normal. To sing a song for me. While they sing the song, I'll walk. My husband doesn't even know the vow. I'll walk up to him and he will escort me, and I'll fulfill my vow before the Lord, my Maker. Thank you.
At this special service, presided over by none other than the Anglican Bishop of Jos, the Most Reverend Dr. Benjamin Kwashi, family, friends, and well-wishers fill up the St. Luke's Anglican Cathedral, Jos, in thanksgiving. It was then time for the Thanksgiving proper.
Because you died and rose again.
After the Thanksgiving service, the Pams hosted guests to an elaborate reception at the Rennie Balloons Event Center, Jos.
Ibrahim Pam. Mama Pamela Pam. Mama Mary Pam. Mama Mary Pam. Mama Sako Pam. Mama Chenso Pam. Olori Ibrahim Pam. Olori Ibrahim Pam.
Friends and relations couldn't spare kind words for Princess Nwakego Ibrahim Pam.
Kego's life has been colorful. It's still colorful. It will continue to be colorful. Kego is a younger sister to me. Even Gambo, I'm not denying that, Abby. But I find in Kego a very true and loyal friend. Very kind, very understanding. You know, you can have experiences in life and it can go either way. It makes you a better person or it makes you the devil's younger sister or brother. But I think, Kego, you took the challenges of life and you turned it into something beautiful to the glory of God. You love very deeply. You do not hide it. You express it in whichever way you can. You have loved your friends, and we know we have prayed together, we have cried together, we have suffered together, we have enjoyed together, we're still enjoying together. For the next 50 years ahead of you, my prayer is that you're going to enjoy it in good health, in full strength. You will not regret any time of your life, but every experience that comes will be a stepping stone to something big, to something great. I want to say thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being one of the mothers who care. We all love you very much.
I think you are a very wonderful person, very friendly, very outspoken, very wonderful person to be with. I mean, for you at 50 to have 5 kids, am I right? And for your husband to be smiling by you always and never showing any sign of a problem, then you must be doing a good job. But I must also commend your friends. They speak highly of you always. True. They always think very, very highly of you. And that shows the kind of person you are. I'd like to wish you many more years of happiness, of joy, of good health, of prosperity, and many, many love with Gambo.
Wow. Half a century down, another century starts. So I wish her all the best. It's been a roller coaster of good, of challenges, but we thank God we're here today to celebrate 50 years. I wish her all the best. Many, many more surprises for her as she starts the journey for the other half of the century.
My sister Kego, she's a lovely sister. It's good to have her. You know, we are 11 and I'm the last. So she has always taken me as her daughter. In fact, I'm her first daughter. So she's loving, very caring. She doesn't hide the truth. She says the way it is. So I'm so glad that God has given her a year to her age. 50 years is not a joke. And the best gift so far is when you're alive to celebrate. I'm glad that her friends are around to celebrate her and not in death. Hallelujah.
Well, having known Kego for so long, my wish for her is that she will embrace her 50s, that she will draw even closer to God, and that she will learn how to serve humanity at this point in her life. We're no longer children. Now it's not about us, but it's about service to humanity. So I just wish my sister a happy 50th birthday. I wish her long life. We heard her testimony. God has indeed intervened in her health, and we just thank God for what is happening to her.
Thank you. Kego is a very respectful woman. Everywhere she is, she brings joy. There's peace everywhere she is. She never allows anybody to act funny anytime. If you have any problems, she comes and meets you. She's a very respectful person. And that's why she's respected by everybody. Thank you.
Well, many more blessings. She's been an achiever and a great mother, and there's a lot to do. She's started off a lot of work and creations for herself, and I wish her all the best that she's able to achieve all that. She's already achieved the first 50 years of being a mother, a wife, and setting up a good family and her grandchildren. So I wish her the second stages of life, of developing what she wants to do for herself, a great success and good health.
Oh, I see she's already very happy. She is fulfilling a vow that she made to God, and I think it gives her great joy. And generally when your wife is happy, you're happy, right? So I wish her good health. I wish her contentment and joy, and I wish her a stronger relationship with God. Appreciate what she has and to be grateful for even what she doesn't.
On this grand occasion of this Thanksgiving, our dearly beloved sister, mother and grandmother, Princess Josephine Nwakego Pam, we present to you her Oriki, or you call it the traditional family title, and it goes like this. Nwakego, ọmọ ọlọ́wọ́ ọ̀tún agbára tí ṣẹ̀rù bà ọ̀lẹ. A tú wọn ká níbi tán gbé ń dáná irọ́. Nwakego, ìlà rẹ̀ ọmọ atẹ́lógún yẹbẹ. Oguri ó jẹ́, Maturi ní í ṣe, ọmọ Ìdó Ọ̀ṣun, ọmọ oníbú ẹja, ọmọ àjùmọ̀ṣeré, ọmọ gbàgàláàlù, ọmọ ajá dùgbẹ̀dùgbẹ̀ ìdí àgbà ṣanú, òròlú àníyàn jatẹ́.
Ẹyin dáa.
Alépo nílé jẹ ìlàní funfun. Mo lú fún adé, àṣẹ funfun lé funfun. Ọmọ ògbórò kẹ̀kẹ́ fọ ìṣà olórí. Ayaba ní jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ọmọ dàgẹ̀lọ́rùn, ọmọ fẹ́bìnrin mọ́bìnrin dóbìnrin lára, ará ìdí ọmọ, ará igbó àgbò. Princess Josephine Nwakego Pam, ẹrú ní sinmi, ẹ̀kọ́ kìí sìnìyàn. Àbọ̀ mi rí o.
Ṣẹlẹ̀ ìlúgbà tó agbára lò. Ṣẹlẹ̀ ìlúgbà tó agbára lò. Lọ́sùn kì í wọ̀ ọmọ kí dókítà ó tó dé. Olúwọ̀rú máa ń papọ̀dà wá lẹ́. Ètò àríwá máa ń papọ̀dà wá lẹ́.
The princess and her husband couldn't hide their joy either.
But thank you, Kego. Thanks for trusting me with your life and your happiness. Don't give me a score yet. I'm still not so much. But I promise bless you. I'll take care of
And you?
I just promise to love him, stand by his side, do everything possible within my power to make him reach his potential. He's a very intelligent, diligent, hardworking man. He's a kingmaker, and I always ask God that since he empowers others, that God is own empower so that he will also get to that point in life that he deserves.
Now they are going to call it after the spelling of Jesus. Give me a J. J. Give me an E. E. Give me S. S. Give me U. U. Finally, give me S. S.
A visibly overjoyed husband of the celebrant and host of the occasion, Ibrahim James Pam, rounded off the celebrations with thanks to God and well wishes.
It's always wonderful to be in the company of you all. We love you all very dearly. Kego draws her energy from friends, from family, from loved ones, especially mothers who care. And because of the time difference we have now, she's always on WhatsApp at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. with mothers who care. So let me advise, please shift your time, your chat times. So very early in the morning, that will suit me very well. But she really does draw her energy from you all. And she loves you all very dearly. And so do I. Thank you very much. And for the gentlemen at the back of the table, the fathers who care. Or the fathers who scare. Gentlemen, thank you so much. To be honest, I'll be very uncomfortable over there because I know what's going on at the table. So I'm coming over to my habitat. So thank you so much for coming. It's a wonderful pleasure seeing you all. And may the Lord bless you all. I'll come and join with me. To the band, the last time I heard you play was at my mother's funeral, and I still have that CD, right? And it's a CD that I've enjoyed very much. This is a different kind of celebration, so I look forward to the CD for this one, but thank you. Very good stuff. And thanks to Rennie for putting this all together. Very grateful to you. Thank you especially to the church, St. Luke's Cathedral, to the Right Reverend, the Honorable Bishop Kwashi, and to the Vicar, and to all our brothers and sisters in the church, especially those who have joined us here. Our gratitude to you for hosting us. Thanks to the Kiso and to Ochi. And to AIT, thank you very much. It's been wonderful having this time with you. Nigeria's favorite TV station. Oh, sorry, NPR TV. Thank you.
Happy birthday, happy